Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
It would be the right one, because it's the one you're approving from last week. I should have the date on it as last.
Just basically just give the update.
So if I may ask, number 7 on here, that's apparently not me.
No.
No,
I was hoping it was.
I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
No, the conservation board has not come to this board yet and said,
Wow.
we agreed to sell it for this amount. You need to have a public hearing because we have to have the public hearing, not them,
Right,
to sell any kind of county ground. So
I understand.
that's just. and
Well-
We haven't, I believe, I guess I didn't say anything to anybody, but I wondered why that wasn't brought up the last meeting about the
Yeah.
agreement.
Again,
Because it had been made the week before, correct?
right,
when they had-
Ron
they had-
Limited agreed in writing to it on the 11th of August.
Okay.
I didn't get an agenda.
Oh, you didn't?
Well, I can pull out my phone and run off it too.
No, you're good.
I thought I'd leave one on each desk.
I've only got one.
I found it.
I might have covered it.
But
Oh, boy, yeah. You
I
give
might
me
not
all
have
kinds
to.
of good stuff.
Chris, you need to clean that desk up a little bit.
Oh, no,
That's
this-
from last week,
Okay.
I think.
No, now I'll make yours dirty.
it's this week.
Okay, oh, wow.
You asked for it.
Uh,
Oh, here's your purple wave. Oh, I found it, sorry. You want it back? Oh, more good stuff. You quit.
You gotta get mine. Oh,
Get yours.
you just throw that all away. Turn that.
Ready?
Let's get started on these. Stand, pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call meeting in order. I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda, if there's no additions.
I'm aware of.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for August 16th, 2022.
Thank you.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
I have
Meeting's agenda, please.
I had community action. It was just business as usual, and it's like we approved the Internal Revenue Service 990 form for 2021. We approved the bid for Burlington Head Start Playground equipment. We approved the agency audit bid proposals. We had a 20 through 25 strategic plan update. We approved the weatherization truck bids. We bought 2 trucks. And we approved a Head Start carryover request on the money They carry over from year to year. We approved, those were the main things, those were the actions that we took. I've got every one of those in a packet if you wanted to review and get the nitty gritty. So that was my meetings attended.
Anything else, Randy?
No.
Chris? Can't think of nothing. Okay, I do, go back to it later. That, I had early childhood, over at Mount Pleasant. Everything's moving forward. Agency bids, reviewing some of our contracts. Things are moving forward. Talked on the phone with Mike Norris about that District 16 up there in Muscatine, the pumping station. And we're gonna have some meetings, and I wanna get you guys involved in it too, because they're at the area now where they want us to make some decisions, and I want us all well informed, so I'll kind of get a meeting set up and then
16 or 13?
13, I said 16, 13.
Okay.
And
Now we have a new one now.
but they're asking for quite a bit from Louisa County as far as trying to store water. They put $600 and some thousand into our pumps to bring them up, but there's not increased any capacities. So there's an opportunity for us to seek some funding to increase capacities, but they're also talking about spillways and stuff like that. So I'm pretty underinformed about it. I know you guys are too. I was involved in meetings, and they went to another level that I think we all need to get involved in, but I'll kind of get with them and find out what's going on and get us all three involved, okay? Because it sounds like pretty big stuff coming our way. So we're gonna meet with them within the next 2 weeks. I'll let you know when that happens. But other than that, windows could start next week at the courthouse. So we'll have to kind of, as we move around, we'll coordinate with make sure everybody's on the aware of what we're doing and when we're doing it, and if there's any courts or anything like that, then we'll change our schedules, but it's starting that way. So they assured me after, as soon as school starts, we'll get that boiler in. Talked to them again Thursday or Friday last week. So happy about that. We'll start getting things out, but that was the biggest thing, is just trying to get some schools done. But that'll done this week. So other than that, I can't think of anything else. I still haven't got my other concrete bids. Still working on it. I'll get back to it. That's it. Public input.
Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for coming down.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I would have been here I was here last week, but I didn't come in because I didn't talk about this before the LCCB board had their chance, and then my understanding that didn't happen. Basically, McDonald Limited did accept the counter bid from the LCCB in an email to the LCCB executive director on the 11th of August. I would have asked last week to be on the agenda this week, thinking, okay, you have been presented, our offer, our acceptance of the offer. But understand that didn't happen. So number one, requesting that I be on next week's agenda and probably the week after and so forth. We do, we're holding up. We've delayed, I guess is the way to say it, the sale of the property that this goes through the middle of. I felt that we gave, meaning McDonald Limited gave we thought about what we were going to bid for a long time. That we gave a bid that was reasonable. Okay, we came back and accepted what the LCCB board came back and said, no, we want this amount. Okay. What I'm asking respectfully is that, this gets some action. So I will plan on being here next week again and
I'll reach
See what
out after
happens
the
there.
meeting and
okay,
see if we can get something going
Appreciate
on
that.
Yep,
thank you.
thank you for coming down. Anybody else, public input? Randy?
No, I'm just taking notes.
Okay. Payroll changes, I handed several out,
Did we have some?
Yes,
probably 6, 7 of them, man.
yes, I had them here a minute ago. There they are.
And that's the problem, and, when I talked to the girl.
Katie Walker resigned
Yep.
as of when? I guess, I keep,
August 31st will be her last day.
okay, she's still here. She's done August 31st. I hate to see that. She was real good at our election stuff.
New election legislation is making a lot of them leave.
We need to get new rulers on your chair. Back and forth.
Maybe not.
I didn't see anything about that. It's too late.
That one
Is
is
it that one?
that's the tax sale one. That's the one that goes out by Marsh. And then the others,
Okay,
I thought, and the other is that ordinance there. That's the reserve officer. And you just have to set dates for the public hearings for those.
Okay.
Because that's the one that Brandon came in and talked to you about last
Yep.
week.
Mhm.
So,
And that's just for locations of those.
yes, on the reserve officers only.
Make sure I had them all. Okay, what Chris has is 7 and 8, so if you want to split them up. And on that, like number 7, what date do we have available? We got
So the
2 weeks.
23rd. So they'd be published
But,
next week.
but you're gonna be gone, so we can't do it that week.
I'm trying to see if we do, go ahead and give them to the paper. And they're published that week in September. Well, they could be published
Mhm.
that week and we could put them on for the 13th. Because I'll be back.
Okay.
That Tuesday, if my plane doesn't crash.
Hope not. Be the first one this year, so.
Yeah.
You could be a first.
Or if I have a plane that will fly and get me back, I'll be back. If not, I'm sure Selena can handle it. I'll have everything done.
Yeah, I might be able to swim that one too.
I mean, they're not controversial, so I don't think.
Not yet. They are now.
So September 13th,
Fine with me, yeah. I'll
that's
be
the
gone
tax,
next Tuesday, but I'll be back with.
That's the tax sale,
That's on number 7.
September 13th.
We can actually both have them the same day. but-
Yeah.
You can have everything.
Would that work?
Both of them.
So just need motions and
I'll make a motion, we set the public hearing date for the county tax sale certificate for September 13th.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, number 8. Chris.
Okay. Well, Eddie's got the deal, but
Oh, yeah, I can,
I'll make the motion that we set the public hearing to read the ordinance concerning reserve officer residency.
Okay, thank you.
here it is.
for,
Second,
For the September of 13.
there we go.
There we go.
Okay, got a
Second.
second. Any more discussion?
No.
And this is just reserve officer only.
Yep.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, we can do, here's what I was talking about last week. We had 2 other, that'll finish all of them up out there at the complex. That was a 2 in a probation and interrogation room. That wasn't on original bids.
This is a change order then.
Yeah, this is an addition to what the other air conditioners were. And that'll put.
Number 12 on the agenda.
12 is on the agenda.
And they were doing the other stuff, this is just change order on admin.
This is just an addition, not really a change.
Okay, yeah, I know.
We didn't bid the other ones, so.
I'll make a motion that we accept this bid for the 2 more air conditioning units of the complex from Menace Heating and Cooling, Morning Sun, Iowa, for $9,440.
With the amount, should we have had another bid of this change order?
Well,
I
since they,
think, I understand,
yeah, we went
To
through a
go through
bidding
all-
process on it, and they're actually, it's lower than the original cost per air conditioner because we bought the other ones, and it's the same brands. And we
Same
have,
person
same person.
it will probably be done.
at the same time.
Yeah. The other ones are done, this one here can get
I
done
think it
right
makes
away.
sense that we,
And the reason we didn't bid the first 2, because that was when the probation office was in the other area.
Yep.
They thought they was gonna close up,
yep,
no reason to have them. Now they moved all the probation, and everything down into the sheriff's side. So that's why it didn't get
Yeah.
originally done.
Okay. Well, you made a motion, I'll second the motion.
Okay, any more discussion?
Nope, I think we had her.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, we have.
And there's the tax sale on Marsh.
Okay, we can do 11.
And this was per the budget.
There's 11. I might be in Florida the 13th, but I'll do it Zoom, okay?
either way.
Oh, doesn't matter. I'll make the motion, we sign resolution 2022-48 for the inter-fund transfer from loss to general basic and rural services per budget. Okay, covers ambulances and libraries.
Thank you.
But what, do you have an eye, what does that leave in our lost fund?
I would have to look.
Okay.
There's plenty in there.
But-
We transferred $164,000.
Yeah.
114 of that is for the general basic for the ambulances and 50,000 in rural services for the libraries. That was all in the budget.
Did you second that?
I don't know if I did or not, but I will again.
Okay,
I
thank
second
you.
it.
I just want to make sure. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Because we had included 50 in that for windows, but we decided to use American Rescue, so I didn't.
Thank you. Okay. Wait for Adam.
Did we get any bids on the top 20?
One.
Just one?
I sent out to 4 or 5, and I have the names that I sent to,
Mhm.
and 1.
Hmm.
There's the folder with the emails and the names that I sent out.
Okay.
And the
Unless one,
bid also.
we got 25 minutes for one to come sliding in here real quick.
Adam should be back today too.
Hey, good morning. How you doing? Good. Hey, we passed that for the other 2 units out there at the complex. If you would proceed with that, please. And we got a recall back, and I want you to look at too. It's on a evaporator coil. And what's weird is I'm not for sure where this unit's at, but this is on the case coil, but it's okay, it's a Goodman. The only thing I could think of Goodman being is out there in the garage of the, where the sheriff keeps his boat and stuff, right there next to the conservation's wing. No, this is actually, well, it could be because it's a, it doesn't say, it gives us a evaporator and furnace model number. But it's a Goodman. I don't think the one's here. Okay, real quick.
Okay. But if we happen to come across it, but we got a recall on it.
Randy, but-
If you come across.
I did
it on that.
talk to my sister, and they don't take care of that cemetery up there, you know, that they sent the card. But they said that they would talk to the guy that does. And it's Dave somebody, but I don't know for sure.
That actually does the mowing.
Yes.
Yeah, well, and also the thank you was to the township trustees
Yeah.
for supplying the money for that. So both of them need complimented, not only the township trustees, but the person that's actually doing the work. Okay,
But they did.
Okay.
they got somebody else hired to do it. I mean, the township trustees do hire people to do it.
So Dave
a mess.
Waymeyer.
Huh?
Dave Waymeyer knows it.
Okay, okay.
They said they forwarded on to him.
Yeah. But like I said, they all need
Yeah.
recognized for the good job they're doing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I appreciate that, but I wanted to let you know that you can proceed on that and get that done. Okay.
Well, who was the bid? Who got, who was the, who bid? These are just all the people that was contacted.
Yeah, I haven't had luck yet getting it out there, but I will, I talked to him about it, just guys, or how you guys get.
I'm guessing the top one with all the photos did the bidding.
Yes.
But there is never, there's no allowance. So I've lost it.
Screwed up a little.
This Josh Miser.
Oh, gotcha,
His
yeah.
car tuck pointing and
No, here.
I'll just write you additional.
Burlington one.
Yeah, I'll just send you a couple.
Extra,
Yes.
this.
Okay.
Okay, no, sounds good. I'll get that. Okay,
And then it'd be the extra with the bonding,
Bet,
whatever
take
else
care.
we had in that other email, but just like under $7,000.
Yeah, it says if you do need performance and payment bond, it would be add $6,137.
Adam said he'd have that.
Well, does anybody understand top point
I read. through
better
this.
than me? And I should, but it's been a long time since we've done our house.
What I like about it is they're gonna pressure wash the building. We're having some, if you look at some of the pictures of the pitting of our stone, and there's two places where they actually, corner of the bricks are starting to come apart. And they're gonna replace, was it 50, some bricks? So that
Well,
means.
they
the bricks-
can do up to 50, and
Yeah.
then we've included up to 50 be replaced. Any addition or deductions from this quantity would be $35 each. So in this price, they'll do up to 50. If there's 100 of them, we're gonna have another $3,500. And that's what, it's almost, it would almost be,
50 would only be half of that.
yeah, yeah.
'Cause the other-
But still, yeah, it's just the fact that the bid says 50 and anything above or below is added or subtracted.
The way
It would almost have been interesting to have been with him when he did this, to have him stand there and say, oh, this area up here, see how bad that is? Now we need to do this and this, and that's gonna be included in this bid. Did anybody do that with him?
I didn't
None of
know it
us
was even
did we?
here. I didn't know it was even here.
Okay, well,
Well, if you want to contact him before.
it's $122,000, guys.
Yeah, but the building's 30 million.
I understand that completely. Yes, this is a large sum of money for us to put out to someone that's gonna do this when they haven't really, it's written down here what they're going to do. But like I said, I don't know as if,
Yeah, you're welcome to have them come in and come back in.
Can I ask, is this for the courthouse?
Yes.
Yes, courthouse.
Since that's a historic building too, if you have them come in, I question them as to what type of mortar they're gonna use and how they're gonna match up on those brick. Those are, because that modern mortar is different from what that building, what was used on that building.
Yeah. It's old sand.
And if you don't use the correct mortar in there,
Gray instead of white. or-
the modern mortar, as I understand it, I think it's more expansive too than some of that older stuff was.
Good.
Are we,
Well,
excuse me. This isn't a life and death thing. We don't need to have to get this done tomorrow or so on and so forth. I really, if you wanna know the truth, I'd like to take this scope of work and I would like to stand there with him. And he says solid tuck pointing, 100% of the mortar joints are in the following areas. From the top stone band to the parapet on all the exterior walls, except for the roof line walls, which have been painted. I feel more comfortable with him standing there saying, here, Randy, this is the parapet, this is this. We're gonna do from there up. And then he says spot tuck pointing, approximately 5% of the remainder of the building. Here we are only selectively replacing mortar joints that have failed. I'd like to walk around and say, well, show me a joint that's failed, and are you gonna do this one?
And he says he has property down here, so he's down here quite often. He has no problem.
I've got no time, I'll put the time in it to come down here with him on an afternoon or weekend or whatever, and go over this,
Sounds like a point.
because $122,000, yes, I know we're doing this on a multi-million-dollar building, but it's still $122,000, and I'd like
No,
to have him go over exactly what we're gonna get for that, okay? Now, we can accept the bid,
Well, we just table
If we
it till
want
you
to.
listen to it.
okay? We can accept the bid and go ahead with it,
Well, I'd
because
rather have it where somebody talked to them, I agree, but I have it not.
I'm surprised the company that did it 8, 10 years ago isn't
They're retired.
big.
They're out of business. I called them first.
Okay, but when they tuck pointed, gosh, they was here 6, 8 weeks. I mean,
I'll give it to you quite honest.
well, I mean, they wire wheeled out every joint.
see, the annex, this building, you know, he says very minor work in the annex building, he'll clean the building with hot water, caulk the expansion joints and minor spot tuck pointing on the back of the building. Figured about 12 hours later. I don't need to look at that. I can read that and understand what they're gonna do to this building.
And I
But-
figured there's gonna need to be a lot done to this building, but while they were here, might as well have them do both in the same area.
Yeah, but this other,
What's our long range goal with this?
which building?
You're talking your old jail.
The old jail, but we have, we're not discussing that. Are we? Are we?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't in on
Before you
this,
leave.
that wasn't in on any of this tuck pointing.
I want to do that before you leave.
Ooh. I don't know, no, remember that? I don't want nothing to do with what we're gonna do with
I'll
that
send it
building.
back down, Randy, and I'll make copies of it before I leave and give you the
Make
copies.
me a copy of
Yes.
this so that I've got it, and then you'll contact them and tell them that,
Well, his number and stuff, and you can call him and you two can make the arrangements instead of me going back and
okay,
forth.
okay, get me a copy of this, I'll call him, I'll get a time that he can go down and go over that with him, and, it might be a week or so, I don't know when, whenever he's available.
Well, I'm gonna be gone to ISO.
Okay.
so-
Here you go.
Or put it in the folder.
Yeah. It needs to be right back
Keep
here.
it all together.
Okay.
Don't lose it.
So you're officially gonna table it?
Yes.
Well, what does it
We got
say?
one, unless we get another bid here in 15 minutes.
Open and approve the bids.
I have not heard anything from any other company.
Yeah, we'll wait after 9:15, then we'll table it until I can talk with him on what we get from that. I wanna see all that, be
Specifics.
comfortable with that, then we'll come back in and like I said, there's no more bids by 9:15.
We'll officially-
We're gonna take his bid, and I think that's where we are.
No, at 9:15, first you said we was gonna table it. When you, let's table it for a week until you and the guy have the conversation. And then a week from now, accept the bid.
After
Okay.
9:15.
Well, after
After
9:15.
night, yeah, but we got,
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to get at.
Okay,
After
that's-
9:15.
well, Randy looked at me like, what's he saying?
Lost it on Tuesday morning,
Okay.
that's right.
It's,
You're doing okay.
we're okay, let's just quit.
Yeah,
Adam,
yeah, you're man of the hour.
Oh, boy.
you gotta find a Walmart?
What was in Walmart?
I don't know, you and your kids in Walmart, plexiglass, anything?
Oh, you heard about that? Yeah, my kids they learned trust falls at church camp, right? Or at Bible school. Except they thought it was funny to do trust falls and then step out of the way.
What is that?
You fall, the other person catches you.
Oh, okay.
Well, when the other person is your brother's like, nope. You'll fall into the glass at Walmart in Ankeny, about break the dang thing. And then you tried again at the campground and your little brother about hits his face on a thing and dad loses it and says, this is how we end up at the emergency room on our vacation.
Did you?
No, we.
But this is how it happened.
We avoided this. So.
3 boys.
Yeah, 3 boys, he's just getting broke in.
So actually, I'm glad to be back at work. This vacation thing is not for me. Not for me. So.
Just gets better.
Just send the 3 boys to camp some summer and you
Well,
just stay home.
Actually, the oldest one was gone like 8 or 9 days for various camps. So he went to the conservation camp. It was a lot of fun. Anyway, back. So got back and I got a text from one of my employees that you need to talk to me. Can you talk to me tomorrow? No. He quit. So we are gonna have a job opening here at the department coming up. So anyway, we're working through
That
that.
just happened today.
Happened when
Yesterday.
I got back
Okay.
Wednesday. So I came in Wednesday on my day off to deal with that. So
Who was that? Can you say, or do you want to say, or do you not?
our second technician, Jacob Kerr.
Jacob Crew.
He's leaving us. So
That's right.
so anyway, so that's minor, but we're construction. We've made a lot of progress. Out there on X17 from Columbus City South, all the asphalt work is done.
Looks good too.
The contractor is leaving to go to 78 because they've got to cover up that.
Temporary.
They did cold in place there and they're going to get some asphalt over top of that. Should be back sometime next week to do the rock shoulders. There's not going to be a lot of rock shoulders because there's not much of a shoulder left. We had about 3 foot and we widened it about 2, so there's not a lot of shoulder left on that. But hopefully have that done end of next week if things go good. So it sounds like the subcontractor is doing 305. Should be next week or the following week, and that should be just a couple days because there's no intersections there. Well, there's a little bit of intersection work, but it's one.
To the stop sign, correct?
Yeah, that, and then we're gonna put a little on that gravel road because it dives down a lot. So get that done, get that project done. On the bridges, they poured the approaches on the east and west up on G28 yesterday. So that concrete should be cured and ready for guardrail work next Tuesday. So that thing should be open to traffic next Tuesday. And the folks up there will be happy for that. So I will be too. So
G44.
G44X. So the contractor is pouring on the 92 bridge today. And then that crew is going down to G44X and is going to begin removing the approaches. And all
Because the
that.
deck's done, correct?
The deck is done.
I got an update this morning.
Yep,
on
so.
all of that.
So they're gonna excavate out the concrete on both and the bridge rails, and then on the southwest side, on the hillside, they're gonna excavate out there down quite a bit and kind of replace a bunch of that bad soil.
Will the road be open while they're doing that work?
No, I mean, they're ripping out concrete and all that, so it's gonna
Well,
be,
I meant, I thought you were talking about doing work in the ditch.
no, this is the approaches
Okay.
in
okay,
front of the bridge, so.
Just like they did on.
Okay,
They're talking about possibly pouring a week from now. Getting that done and getting
which
poured,
is,
30th supposedly.
okay, so we're still on track to get this done by 1st of September or so?
No, I said the week of Labor Day. So
The week of Labor Day, so that.
if they pour the 30th,
4th through,
the Tuesday after Labor Day, it should be cured.
okay,
Come in a guardrail, maybe the Wednesday after Labor Day.
Okay.
And then it'll be open to traffic.
Okay.
That'd be good. And then they'll just have to come back and do the joint sealing and a little bit of touch-up work. So we're hopefully two weeks out. I mean, they still got 25 days left on their contract, but they're looking forward to getting it done because they've got a project on 92, they got one on 218, and they've got a lot of work to do too. So
I'll tell the neighborhood.
I'll always add a day when they tell them. You know,
Well, you see what I found out, the best thing for me to do is stay away. I go every Tuesday in the morning, I go Tuesday mornings. And I get all the updates, and then they wanna know what's going on, and then we go from there. So next Tuesday, I'll tell them we got about a week,
That's right.
maybe a week and a half, maybe a week and 2 days.
I joke with people, I'm not gonna be elected the Grand Marshal of the Grandview
Well, neither
Parade
am
next year, so.
I. Neither am I. Because they're not.
So,
Okay.
and anyway, hopefully that's, the plan is to have that done Labor Day week, we'll be all done.
Yeah.
They'll love you again once it's done.
Well,
Don't forget it.
hopefully, you know, once we get that bunk on and all the rough bridge fixed.
Be a new road.
We can go down that hill faster.
Mhm.
Hit that.
I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah, I can go that, so.
Okay,
So that's construction, going on, the bike trail up in Junction, Mike talked to the contractor and they're still at end of September, so. That's probably about as low priority for the contractor as it is for us, so.
And they'll pour the corner also.
So,
That'll be closed for a while.
yep, so, other things, we're ditching, we got a crew out by Morning Sun, they're working on the Iowa City Road out there, and we're actually hauling some of that dirt on some of our dirt roads to kind of build them up and widen them out. I'm not planning to throw gravel on them or anything, but just getting them higher and drier so when it rains, water runs off rather than sits on top of them. That's going on out there, and then we got another crew out by Indian Creek, out by the pork plant there, pork's thing heading towards the bridge, and we talked to the landowners there and
I
everything's.
say, you're not anywhere near the cemetery, right?
Well, we're approaching it, and
Yeah,
we talked to some of the concerned citizens out there. And
Absolutely, just keep
and they
everybody
seem to-
informed, that's the main thing.
They seem to be that, and I've stressed to our guys that seeding, as soon as we get some good weather, let's get that
Yep.
seeded down and all that. And, seems to be going well. We're using a little bit of that dirt kind of on M Avenue, that little bit of dirt there, and
Communication with those people, gotta have it.
getting that straightened out hopefully, so. I'm gonna keep banging away on that kind of stuff. My maintenance supervisor's gonna be out for a couple weeks, and I'm gonna be doing that too, so.
Okay.
I have a busy month coming up here. So. Anyway, other than that, I don't really have much else going on, so. Are the Spicer Brothers coming in?
They'll be in here at 9:30, we've got Jay and Dave down to discuss that culvert up in Concord Township. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I brought some of the plans and maps if you guys want to look at it beforehand or.
Please.
Okay. I've got to step up and look at it. Okay. It's kind of a pile of stuff here, but nothing if not thorough, so. Okay, the first small one is the aerial imagery from the 1930s. In case anybody is interested in what aerial looked at. Jan, do you want to see what aerial imagery from the 1930s? There you go. Whoa. I'm gonna put this one back. And then here are the construction plans when,
Thank you, Brad. Hey, thanks a lot. Take care of yourself. Yep.
in yesteryears, when this was converted from a cattle path into a modern road.
This is probably taken from DC3.
So in these original plans, you'll look here, and I'll get you right. So these plans in that picture are roughly the same era. So here's the pond in question, and here's the plans. You can see there is no pipe across the road. These areas are called wasteland. Now, I don't know what wasteland meant then. To me, it probably means like a really sandy area that a bunch of scrub brush on it. So
I bet you're pretty accurate.
sorry.
Liver over in the corner.
I'm sorry.
Is this number 10?
On the agenda,
Yes.
Okay, moving on to more information. Here's the 1950s, sometime after the road has been built. And it does not appear there's a pipe across there. Again, it looks like a wasteland, which that's really sandy there. It's really sandy there. Sandy, I should remember the sandy here. And here are elevation maps. I don't know if these are numbered or not, but it does, if you guys just want to look at this, that's an elevation map and it does show the pond there, but no pronounced waterway through there. The waterway is actually to the east.
Has water ever encroached that road?
So I asked our guys and they said no, but I assume under, like probably in 2019 or 2008 or something like that, it probably got there. But one thing to notice, and I will show you the elevations here.
It's pretty flat.
It's flat and very sandy. So if you look, here's the contour map. As you can see, I wasted a lot of county paper on this project. But if you guys look, actually over here to the west, there's a low spot there that's like 12 feet lower than the pond. So I think when it really floods, the water either soaks through the ground and goes that way or backs up and runs around there. Because that spot there is
Which spot? Show me the spot.
That's really low.
so here's 606,
Not that far away either.
right? There's houses over here, you know where that
Yeah,
is?
that's over there in that field. This
Yeah.
isn't,
And this normal pond elevation is, I don't know, 612 or 614 or something like that. So
There's quite a bit of area.
see, I thought that okay, here's the drainage. We've got this ridge here, but I thought
yeah,
it actually gets over to here, because this is that dug in ditch that runs all the way down to the
I
drainage ditch.
don't think it would, because if you look at the elevations, this 620, 622.
Yeah, 622 and 622.
But down here is like 614, 660.
Then where did it go?
I think if it were to flood up or whatever, it would go across the road.
I'll go across, see, look at the 14, the 12.
Meander kind of through here, but it's damn flat in there. So my general thinking is, and this is a fairly common request I have, that landowners ask us to manipulate drainage, especially in some flat areas. I remember a couple years ago, it was real wet, and over by Cara, we had quite a few. Hey, can you make the water drain so it doesn't come through my field? Because I've got the field and the crops are on it. And I said, it's not something we can just go do. if we're gonna do it, we require you to get something written from your downstream neighbor, because if you're gonna run water through his property, he needs to bless it, and two, you need to pay for the work yourself. I mean, if our standard became, hey, we'll help you drain your field, we would do nothing but that, because I mean, everybody's gonna call it out for that. So my determination was that there's never been a pipe here, probably because the area above was never farmed, because it's real simple. But now with modern irrigation, you can probably farm it. But just because you can farm it doesn't mean the public has to come and put in a pipe for it. And then my real concern was, we've got a downstream owner who said he doesn't want it. And then up above that, the pond is listed on the National Wetlands Inventory. I don't know all the rules for that, but I just didn't.
Hey.
Hey, Jake.
He's gonna bribe us.
Oh, he's bribing us.
He's gonna bribe us. I knew it.
Here, if they don't
I
want
knew it. I knew it.
It's not Twinkies this time.
Come on in.
JJ.
I'm fine, Jay, how are you?
Hi, Jay.
Your brother coming?
Yeah, he said it would, but we can start if you want to go. You guys need to.
No.
No, wait.
We're
to.
looking
Over there?
at some maps right now.
Thanks, Jay.
Sure. I made that real early this morning.
I see the flowers still in your hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. The rest of the crowd's gonna have to fight over the pieces that are left.
There you go.
I suppose you better.
To want to split it?
No, go ahead, give it to
Jim?
Jim. He needs it,
No,
go ahead.
I already have some.
Thank you.
Anybody?
I'll tell you here.
Hey, good, Jim.
Not too bad. How about you?
Send me
I'm
here.
good on
Yeah,
that.
oh, thank you.
Wait, your briefcase too?
What do you do here?
We're just.
Something to do. Something to do. Could you come home?
Yeah, well, yeah, where you live. I forgot.
Down here. The last week.
Yeah, we got fish and a quarter 2 times. Or 1 7/10 where I live.
We got 1 4/10 in Conesville, had over 6 inches.
Yeah, thirsty camel, you see them pictures?
Yeah.
It was right up to their steps.
Yeah. And Des Moines had a hell of a rain. Of course, they needed it. Des Moines.
Yeah, we did it here.
Did you go up to State Fair anyway?
No, I see pictures of the camel.
I was there.
Were you? Did you see some people?
A lot of people there. A lot of people there.
Some people on full feed too up
They're
there.
in the- Yeah.
Was you there when it rained?
Oh, you were there when it rained?
Well, I hid out with Mary Boyson in the ag building. So while that big downpour and all the hail and this and that,
Did anybody get any campers down in those
No.
areas?
everything.
Cause that is hilly and heck.
The one shower house that's down in the lower spot, the water run in one side and out the other. And there was ruts, down through where we were parked and stuff, but no wind and, on the grounds for just a short time. There's maybe some pea-sized hail and that was it.
Lucky. A lot of campers there.
They were lucky.
That'd be devastating.
Try to pay them big premiums.
Well, there's no, you guys got a lot of stuff to do. We'll get going on this. Dave can come in if you want to.
This is actually the last thing on our agenda.
Oh, it
That's the
is?
last thing.
Oh,
We're just
okay. Jeepers, I mean, you get paid full time and work what, hour and a half?
2 or 3 hours.
We're gonna raise it.
We're a little bit like a lawyer,
We want taxpayers to pay a little bit more for.
a little bit like a lawyer, yeah.
I don't know where you're going with that.
Oh.
And there was, so this one guy hired a plumber. And the plumber came to his house and worked on him, and he said that he gave him the bill, and the guy said, gee, try me. He said, That's more expensive than a lawyer, isn't it? He said, no, he says, I used to be a lawyer, now I'm charging like a plumber. If you could find one. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna kind of go through this. I've given everybody a copy, and I think, this is a good photograph that he made available for me. And I would say that in this photograph, this is north, and this is south, and this is southeasterly. This will be the Ed Stewart Pond, and this would be the Schweitzer, the water that we're referring to. This is 170th Street that we're going to discuss about this. Dave filed an application with the engineer for a right to encroach, and the engineer denied it. And those are the first exhibit is Dave's application. The second exhibit, no, the first exhibit shows you the two sections. We're talking about section 9, and we're talking about section 16. 9 is Schweitzer, section 16, I want to call it Jorgensen. Okay, Marvin Jorgensen. So those are the two sections we're talking about. The road goes between 9 and 16. So Dave made that application back in the 3rd of September. It was denied by Adam. In the letter, his letter of denial is attached thereto, and his photograph, which he provided. Hey,
Is this the letter?
no, that's my appeal. That letter is my appeal of Adam's decision. I appealed Adam's decision to him. And I sent that, see, Adam said no, so I appealed that, and that's the letter that on June 15th. Adam took the position, though, that he was gonna keep that position, that we couldn't have the culvert. So then I asked myself to be put on your board, or here.
Jay, I would like to clarify though, that the denial said I would deny it until the following issues were addressed. One was permission for drainage across neighboring property, and 2, to have the wetlands issue examined.
Okay, yeah, his letter is there, his denial is there. So.
Well, the letter, the June 15th letter that you're coming back here, number 3 here, is when Dave Schweitzer contacted Randy Griffin of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors previously and had been assured that we would be allowed to place a culvert under 170th. I had talked with Adam, and Adam had denied it unless these certain things were
Right.
And if that happened, then we could proceed with it.
Okay,
So there's some misunderstanding here. Sounds like I'm given permission to put this under there. Dave, I did not. You must have misunderstood me. I have never once told that engineer what to do.
No, and I'm not gonna tell you that you did.
Okay, thank you.
I probably
Because you can probably see the look on my
miscommunication.
face, Jay, that
Right.
I'm,
Well, this is really irrelevant because that's how we got here.
Totally.
I'm showing you how we got here.
Right,
Okay,
okay.
so now we're
That's
here.
fine.
My
Now that
job,
we're here,
my job is to prove to you that the water runs from northwest to southeast. If I don't prove that to you, I can't win. Water runs downhill. The elevation has to be, the elevation in this photograph, if the elevation is not greater, yeah, get your photograph out. If you don't believe me that the elevation is higher here than it is here, I must lose because water runs downhill. If you believe the water runs this way, I cannot win. Okay?
that's elevations.
Okay.
That's
And
really
does that
kind of neat.
Is that section higher than this section? Is Schweitzer Brothers higher than Jorgensen?
The highest piece that I see, well, if you go up into the draws that go over towards, go to the east, it's 654, but around the outsides of the lake is 618, 622, 626,
Okay,
all in this area.
And then it drops
Okay.
down to 614.
When you go down here,
yes,
below 170th, we're 616, 614, 622. Here's that ridge.
so do you
I
buy,
always thought that it drained here.
yeah,
You and I discussed it, over into here and then out. You
Yeah.
can't get through this ridge. It drains in a circle like that.
but
Adam?
would you agree that 9 is higher than 16, Adam?
I agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would you agree that the water would go from a higher elevation to a lower elevation?
Well, if that's the case, why wouldn't it go from here, 616, this over here?
Because of nature. Okay, guys, go back to the, I'm gonna send you back to 1982. The 1982 plat book attached. You see, 82, go up to 9, section 9. That's the last page of my exhibit. Section 9, you see that creek, that's creek roll. It goes up, starts up on Ed Stewart, goes through Schweitzer Brothers down into there. Can you see that? Yeah, you see, that's the way the water has been coming historically. You see that, Randy? Okay, it went from northwest to southeast. If you don't believe that, I got no business being here. Do you believe, Randy, that it ran from the northwest to the southeast?
So,
I did,
Chris, you don't?
I did originally think it went through there, but now that I see the elevations, no way it's getting through.
You don't believe it runs from the northeast to the southwest, northwest to the southeast?
Northwest.
In other words, do you believe that, Matt?
No, I think
It's
that's wrong.
correct.
See, that goes across the corner. See it going across the
Yes.
corner of that? That would have to be, to get across that corner, it would have to flow this way.
Right, and I say that the water flows that way.
So I can't get.
You don't
can't
believe
get-
that?
It can't get through. At one time I did, because of this drainage ditch that's dug in here.
It did drain.
Well, but
Historically.
how did it get through there?
Well, it can't get through there because there's a road.
There's 622.
There's a road there.
No, I crossed the
And
road
road-
up above it.
So let me read
You
you.
and I looked at two separate things.
I have a comment, so.
May I speak, please?
Go ahead.
And then, can
Go
I
ahead,
talk?
Jay. Yep, sure.
Yeah.
Or you go first if you want. to.
Okay, just a thinking about the timing, right? That was in a plat map from 1982, which was not drawn by an engineer. And I have construction plans from the 1950s drawn by an engineer employed by this county, signed by the signed by the board of supervisors, that at that time there was not any drainage through there because there is not a pipe through the road at that time. There's pipes to the east where that comes down there. But at that time and place, there was not a pipe underneath the road.
I concur, he's right. There was not a pipe.
And so for 70 years, depending on, it's probably in the 40s or 50s, for 70 plus years, that there's never been a pipe under the road. There's
Are
never
you
been-
saying the statute of limitations runs on water?
I'm not a lawyer, Jay. It's just,
Are you saying though the statute of limitations runs on water? That after so many years, the water stops running? Is that what you're telling the board?
no.
What are you telling the board?
I tell the board that
That water stops running.
previous engineers before me, probably better engineer than me, just decided that there was not sufficient flow or any need for a pipe in that area. Probably because it was so sandy, when it did rain, it soaked in the ground and went out into the way.
Okay, can I go shot?
Yep,
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I'll be quiet.
Sections 468, 622 provides in part, when the course of natural drainage of any land runs to a public highway, the owner of such land shall have the right to enter upon such highway for the purpose of connecting the owner's drain or ditch with any drain or ditch connected along or across said highway. If a tile line or a drainage ditch must be projected across the right of way to a suitable outlet, the expense of both material and labor used in installing the tile line or drainage ditch across the highway and any subsequent repair thereon shall be paid from the funds available to the highway affected. I've exhibited I've shown you the exhibits. I've also attached there an exhibit FL, which I call the 100-year floodplain. And that's been developed. And if you'll see the 100-year floodplain, it's the checkered. It's the checkered. And see how, if you see how the floodplain, see how northwest to southeast, can you see how that,
Right.
that low, take a line and draw it from the northwest to the southeast. The northwest to the southeast. See, here's the Schweitzer Pond or whatever you want to call it.
Right here.
And then it hits that floodplain there, because you can see the low ground. Did you see
Yes,
that? Okay.
I see that, but,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Counselor.
Wow, you really don't want me to talk.
I'm sorry,
You get your shot. You get your shot.
I'll just.
Okay, yeah, you can see that the flow from these two exhibits, it's obvious that the flow of water is not northwesterly, but whether southeasterly. You've got to accept that the water's going from the northwest to the southeast, or I can't win. So the water is flowing that way. It's the Schweitzer's position that the elevation of section 9 is higher than the elevation of section 16. I'm going to cite some cases. It says determination is between two adjacent tracts of which tract is dominant estate with respect to disposition of surface waters. In other words, which estate has the power with regard to surface water depends on the relative elevation of the two tracts. I say the tract to the north is higher than the tract to the south. Also, another case, the owner of upper lands may, by discharging water into a natural water course, drain surface water upon the lower land. That means that case, that Schwartz versus Wapello County, the Supreme Court said the upper landowner, in this case, Schweitzer, by discharging water in the natural course, drains surface water upon the lower land. The Supreme Court said that. The lower landowner is subject to the rights of the upper landowner. And also said in another case, upon a upper proprietor, that would be Schweitzer, may drain his land through the natural water courses in a way to increase the water that is to flow over the servient land. The servient land is the lower land, provided the increase is not too great or in an unnatural quantity as to cause injury. That means you can't squeeze it all together in a tube and shoot her out, but you can let it go through a swale. Okay. The other case that the common law in Iowa, and it's a lot of this old law, treats surface water as a common enemy. Everybody fights the water, all of us. Whereas the civil law places a servitude upon the lower land, servitude, in favor of the upper landowner. That means that Jorgensen has a servitude to the Schweitzer property. And the upper land, so that lower land in favor of the upper land to receive all natural drainage, and subservient owner cannot obstruct the natural flow or passage of water to the dominant owner's detriment. So in other words, the lower people can't obstruct it to my detriment, okay? Or to our detriment. The construction of the road I-70 was many, many years ago. It created an artificial barrier. And the court in Phenema said, when water, no matter what its character, flows in a well-defined course, be it only a swale, and seeks in discharging neighboring stream, one landowner cannot arrest or interfere with its flow to another's injury. We feel that you've interrupted the flow to our injury by building a natural character. He says the statute of limitations runs on water. I don't think it does. Okay, it would appear from that from section 9, the water from section 9 and 16, there was seepage under the road. However, in times of heavy rain, the road acts as a dam and backs water up in a northeasterly direction to the detriment of the Schweitzer farm ground. This flowage from northwest to southeast is basically only a swale or land that is lower than the adjacent east and west sides. Schweitzer Brothers is not attempting to rid the surface water, but simply to rid subsurface water, but simply excess rainwater. Schweitzer Brothers is not attempting to reduce the water table lower than the road ditch on the north side. I contacted Klinger Engineering, and they have recommended a pipe of 9 to 12 inches. No water flow from the pipe, no water would flow through the pipe until such time as the surface water reaches the north road ditch. When water reaches the north road ditch, then water would start to flow. It'd have to come up a lot right now. It would not drain the wetland in section 9. The Attorney General issued an opinion in 1998 providing a part as follows: county supervisors must hold a hearing on an application for a drainage project, and in deciding whether to approve, may make findings on the course, size, depth, manner of construction, and adequacy of existing drains. Whether a county must pay, whether the county must pay the expense of installing the tile from a private owner across the road to a suitable outlet depends upon various factors. Schweitzer Brothers is not seeking to drain or tile out the wetland on section 9, but rather to remove excess surface water that is held up by the county road, which is an artificial barrier. Section 16 has always taken seepage water from section 9. 3 things happened that brought this thing to a head, basically. I would say the first thing was that Ed Stoor built, or Bobby Kemp built a pond. And you can see it. Bobby Kemp built that
I
pond.
know exactly where you're talking about.
See Bobby Kemp built.
Above yours.
That stopped a lot of surface water on Schweitzer Brothers. It was really beneficial. We agreed to it, and they put the dam on our fence. So that stopped a lot of surface water, and that was in 1983. The next thing that happened, there are 3 things. The next thing that happened is that Jorgensen went in and Morrison went in, and they did a lot of plastic tiling in the south, and they took some of the swale out when they put those pipes in. That's number 2. And the third thing is the nature of farming has changed substantially. These hydrants that we have now are a lot better in the dry water and irrigation. And so Schweitzer Brothers land, which 150 years ago wasn't worth shit. I mean, you couldn't grow a sander on it. But now with irrigation and the good hybrids, we have some pretty productive ground in there. We irrigate and we grow. And what we're losing here is we're losing the dark green and the light green. And we're not, now all we're asking for is to Dave, what's the elevation of the ditch on the north side?
The north side of
The bottom of the ditch.
the existing county ditches that they just dug out last year. The north side is 8 inches higher than the south side.
So you've got 8 inches of fall there that you're holding back. You're holding back 8 inches, and that 8 inches that you hold back.
Jay, they're holding back 3.5 foot.
3.5 foot.
They go
Because
to
of
the
the
top
road,
of the
right?
road.
Oh, yeah, okay. But, yeah, 3.5 foot, you're holding back 3.5 foot, but if you pipe in there, then all you'd be, if we need to get rid of that unnatural barrier, artificial barrier. And all we want to do is take the water from the north ditch to the south ditch.
Jake, I asked you a question. Now, you said one of the problems that contributed to this was somebody did some tiling and took some of the swale out, allowing more water to come in.
Yes, not even more to come in, stopping it.
Okay.
When Jorgensen came in,
Can I interject?
sure.
Yeah, please.
What Jorgensen did, and he leveled it out, and then he didn't tile it. He put in drip water irrigation. Do you understand what
Yes.
I'm doing? A poor job of explaining. So when he leveled out, it created all that used to be a pasture and a drainage. Then he filled it in and leveled out, raising the drainage so that there's no longer that low spot, so that the ground level could go out there, groundwater could go outside. So we actually lowered the groundwater almost 4 foot.
Did that contribute more water coming in with the drainage?
I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing.
That's contributing
water
to more
getting
water
off
coming
your
into that
property, I
area.
believe is your point.
Yeah, what it did is it slowed the water to dissipating to the south. And so our water no longer can drop to the water level that it did. It raised our water level, and therefore it has increased the amount of water we hold for a longer amount of time.
So Brett, I was gonna, I think I understand their point. That the, back at some time, the Jorgensen property was a couple feet lower.
Yes, sir.
So that when water could get through or over through the road, it would go into the ditch and then run down Jorgensen. My view now, and I was unaware of the past, I'm gonna have to research it, but the water running into the ditch, there's no way for it to get in Jorgensen, because Jorgensen's ground is higher than that.
Yes, sir.
And so in Jay's recital of Iowa Code, he talked about a suitable outlet, right? Well, in my opinion, there is not a suitable outlet, but perhaps that was before I knew that the land had been altered, right? That the pipe, the water can't come out of the pipe and then jump up onto Jorgensen's and go across. Now, if he filled it up, that's a different case. But my question is, regardless of if you're allowed to place a pipe in there to take a certain amount of water off the top, right, from your normal level up to the road level to bring that down, water goes into our ditch, then what's to keep Jorgensen from coming in, and we're going through this whole same spiel again, and Jorgensen as well, Schweitzer Brothers and Wise County are putting excess water on my property. You know what I'm saying? This becomes a fight between Schweitzer and Jorgensen, which, to be honest, I don't. The pipe is not a big deal to me. It's a precedent of changing things to suit one landowner over another. So my thinking was, if you guys could get that worked out, we wouldn't even be here. It would have been approved.
Okay, can I answer that?
Sure.
My answer to you, sir, is where does water go? Does it run uphill?
It goes downhill, but there
All
are.
right, sir,
Okay, yeah.
and you just answered your own question, I believe. That would be my explanation to you. If water runs downhill, then there is no argument at all, because you cannot change gravity unless you're God, and I don't think you are.
No, I'm not.
Where I have the question is this has been 100 years of documentation. We showed that 1930 is the first map I seen. There was never a culvert there. That's why I was trying to ask what changed, because there's never been a culvert there for 100 years, and now it's changed where it's a burden. I kind of grew up in that area. I know exactly where you're at, and I used to ice skate and stuff all the time on that. But I'm just trying to figure out what changed. That's why I was asking
Well,
about.
Jorgensen levels it out,
But
correct?
Randy, I would, if
That's
you're,
what I'm thinking.
More so than that, and if you're from that area, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're a farmer by your tan, the fact that agriculture
No
has
house.
dramatically changed in the last 50 years. And you know that sandier ground now has a value. And we currently are renting that ground that gets flooded. So you're, in my opinion, you are interfering with our ability to generate a profit of something that we pay taxes on, and we also purchase to make money on.
Well, we're not interfering with anything. We're listening. But the biggest thing is
And I apologize for my indication.
but 100 years of not having something, I'm going to be inquisitive about what changed.
three things.
And that's what I'm here today to learn. What changed to make this unproductive land over the 100-year period? I know farming technology is changing every day, but this culvert has never been in this road. So that's what we're trying to find out today is what the best. And I'm looking at the 1930, 1950 drawings. The creek that shows an 82 census thing where somebody drew is inaccurate to all my other. I don't know if you've seen these or not.
No, I haven't.
But these here, and I'll show you another one, where the creek actually starts, it does not show the creek going continuously up.
And Brad, I think if you look on the 30s and 50s aerials, there's no swale or waterway there.
So that's what I was kind of wondering, did somebody change the contour of all this? But I'm just saying,
I think, yeah.
on that.
George?
And we're here to learn, we're
Yeah.
here to listen and find out to make good decisions.
Right.
And we want to make sure that the decision we make does not encroach a problem to some other landowner. That's what we're here for. It's making sure everything's done properly and everybody gets the results where it does not interfere. Your problem does not interfere with the neighbor. And that's what
But it
we're trying
has
to do.
to. Water runs downhill.
Well, we've got
Yeah,
to
well,
get
what's
it to
gonna,
the
where's
creek.
the end thing here is
Yeah.
if we go ahead and do this and put it in, you're gonna end up in court with Jorgensen probably. Or is
Probably.
Jorgensen gonna come back on us for allowing it?
No, you put up artificial barrier. Remove the artificial barrier and then Jorgensen and we'll fight it out. He has to take our water. That's the law.
The artificial barrier that we.
The
put up
artificial barrier is stopping him
Is
from
what, the
taking our
road?
water.
road.
The
The
road
road.
that's 100 years old,
An artificial
that we've
barrier.
never had a problem with before.
We've had a problem with it since 1932.
What problems do we have? I want to
The
hear.
fact that it increased at twice since we have owned it. Randy says it hasn't run over the road, and I apologize because I don't remember. The year that it flooded Fredonia and went over the road.
Yeah, the water.
But every year it was that Fredonia flooded, it went over our road. So you can imagine that it raised 3.5 foot onto our
Okay.
ground.
That's the first I've heard of that.
I don't remember ever going across the road.
I'm sorry, Randy, it did.
So,
You had barriers up, you guys were fighting a bigger battle than our little road.
so.
We had barriers up? I was
No,
beside
no,
it.
No,
that
he
road.
means you were busy working at that
On
time.
something
You
else.
were busy working at the time, is what I think.
Yes, that's what I'm
Yeah,
implying.
it wasn't being.
Can a culvert be put in to take it down to the actual waterway disbursement where it goes down to the river? Because that naturally goes down and drains in the rivers.
So if we were to put or allow Schweitzer Brothers to install a pipe 9 inches, 12 inches, whatever it is, this size doesn't really matter. From the natural pond level up to the current road level, let's say that's 3 feet, right? So they put a pipe there, right? The water as it raises up on Schweitzer would go through the pipe down into our ditch. Problem with our ditch is it's 4 or 5 feet. I believe the Jorgensen property is about the same elevation as our road. So it'd have to go down there, fill up that and dump into Jorgensen. And be honest, I don't care that much about it. I don't want Jorgensen to be in this same situation and then we're defending ourselves against Jorgensen when it's really your guys' battle to be had.
Can we get an agreement between?
That's what I asked. That was my ask for, and perhaps I wasn't very artful in my request to have some sort of agreement.
So if we have, if you guys would.
What
seek
you're asking
agreement,
for is, we don't have a problem with Jorgensen.
But we
We
like,
don't have a problem with Jorgensen.
Does Jorgensen have
We
a
got a
problem
problem
with
with you because you made the unnatural barrier.
100
Well-
years ago.
yeah,
How many, the statute of limitations doesn't run on water, Randy.
well, we agree with that, but we're here to work it through it. And the white-haired people back in the 30s, we're past that. But I think what we need to do is come up with a way to make it work with today's.
Put a tube in,
Exactly.
put a tube in.
But can we get permissions and make sure everybody's on the same page?
No,
That if we go, you think there's gonna be an argument on it?
no, I don't think you can. It hurts rental, National, Farmers National
Yeah.
runs it.
So,
You know, they got thousands and thousands of acres.
so.
It's like the railroad, they want to agree to sign to anything.
Well, yeah. So they called me and said, we're gonna raise heck if you allow
Bring
it.
them on.
Well, and that's fine for your
Bring 'em
battle,
on.
but
Well,
I
then
don't
here we
want
are. Let's just,
Bring them on.
I.
We're ready. We
I
got
don't
the
wanna be
cases.
Drug into it.
They gotta take our water.
Yes. But
we don't want to be involved in it,
You shouldn't be.
huh?
You shouldn't be. Put
I
the
agree.
tube in there, allow the water to get by, and let us duke it out.
hey, if
Now, you argue with them before we put the tube in.
Then you
I got no chance. They didn't put up the artificial barrier. They're the empty chair.
No.
According
They're
to
the
your,
empty chair. We didn't do it.
We put our road in.
Supervisors did.
How many years ago did that road go in there?
And they're gonna say, well, not that I know what I'm gonna say, well, it's never been that way, you know, the county road blocked it, whatever, and then we're.
No, they won't argue that. They
I-
know the statute of limitations doesn't run on water.
I have a legitimate fear that at some point, Louisa County is gonna be drug into court and have to pay to do something to Jorgensen's ground.
But you gotta do the right thing. Whether you get drug in or not, you gotta do the right thing.
We're trying.
You try
We
to.
don't want to.
Don't-
trying to go through
Don't
steps
put
to
up
do
the
the right thing.
artificial barrier. Take down the.
May I ask a question?
We're just gonna get this, okay? But please do what you can, you know, and if you can't, fine. You know.
My question, I'd like to leave with one, on the north side of the road. It's 8 inches higher than it is on the south side of the road. And it's pretty simple that water cannot go uphill. And if it can, please explain to me how. And I still don't know how.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, what we need to do is, I know you've looked in this a lot, but maybe we need to all go out and look at this situation with our own eyes, but somehow, if we do change this, we have to get it to a proper drainage ditch. And don't sound like there's any way
That's a
possible.
problem. Yeah, that's a problem. I mean, I don't care if there's a pipe in there.
We don't either.
really doesn't. It
But
doesn't
we
matter to me.
don't
I
want to
just-
hurt somebody
But
else.
if
Looking
we
out for the
put
county.
If we put the pipe in and all of a sudden
Jorgensen's bad.
Jorgensen's are going to, that outfit is gonna go after them and they're gonna include us.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we're right in there in the middle of it all because we allowed it.
And
Take
Jay
care
has
of it
own
with
minutes
them.
said there's gonna be a problem.
And the other thing, I can understand his point of modern farming's changing and that land is more valuable. That is true. But we've got that same situation in 100 different locations in this county. If the road department is responsible for making everybody's investments come true, that is not going to work out well, because
Well, we're basing it on one incorrect 1982 plat map. And if you go back and look at 30 and 50, it shows the creek start on section 16 down further, not crossing their property at all. That's where I feel that until they can get agreements, I think it would be a bad deal if we would go ahead and move forward without all the agreements in place. So we know we're gonna end up in court. So that's the bus I don't like usually driving.
We're about doing the right thing. Well, we're doing the right, we're protecting the taxpayers in this. We don't need a big lawsuit over this,
We have,
over a road that was put in 1910.
and we gotta do what's right. So I think we just look into it and see what else.
Come here, look at this map right here. I've got something to say about, okay, this is that ridge that I always thought that, and that one map shows it draining like this, which is wrong. It's never gonna get through this
no, it's
620 foot. It actually went out, around and back over onto that, I think.
okay.
Didn't it? Because if you look at the elevation.
Or it just seeps, or it backs up here.
Well, this is a hell of a big ridge through here.
But it's all
that's-
sand too, though.
Yes, it's all sand,
Sounds
but
like
you know, from
something
the sand pits are in here, but
Yeah.
this is a big ridge. It almost looks like me, it came down, made the circle and went over here. And see, back in the day, the Tangents, that was that was a livestock farm.
Mhm.
They didn't raise hardly,
No,
very
it's all
little over
cows.
here, they farmed a little, rest of it was cattle, livestock. They went in there and leveled
Mhm.
all of that. I remember when Morrison did that, he moved dirt, moved dirt, moved dirt. That's how he ended up with this. That's how he ended up with the field higher than our ditch. Now, he has some responsibility for that, for doing that.
Mhm.
Jorgensen does. So I think there's a good argument there between Schweitzer's and Jorgensen as to who modified what first. Jorgensen's went in there and
Something
leveled all that. That's making, if we did put a pipe in, Jorgensen's field's higher than our ditch. At one time, it was not higher
Probably
than the
lower.
ditch.
Right.
It was lower. I remember, Jeff Morrison hauling months with dump trucks, moving dirt on that farm, scrapers and stuff to make it level it out, and then they put that irrigation in there. So they modified the bottom side of that. So I would guess that Jorgensen is somewhat at fault
Can you get an
for
80s?
doing this.
What?
Can you get something?
I'll look to see what I can find.
Because Randy's argument's right, I agree with it, because something changed.
Yeah, and it did when they leveled that over there, they ended up.
And
We're talking
I'm
historically.
I'm guessing if Jorgensen's was 5 feet lower and water was high on that road, it's just pouring through
believe
that
that-
road too. And
I believe that Jorgensen would lose the argument here with Schweitzer's, but I don't want involved in it because they're
It
wanting
should
us
be
to put the
our fault.
pipe in. They're wanting us to put the pipe in to start the argument.
It's different.
Or
We
start
took the
the-
pipe out in the eighties. If there's a pipe error, then he has a great pitch. We've never had a pipe error.
Never had a pipe there, and I don't
Ever.
remember, I've worked for the county for
Yeah.
48 years
And it
now.
might have
And
went
I
over.
don't know if I
I
remember,
trust what he says. It might have went
well,
over.
okay.
So my,
One episode don't constitute.
Yeah, and that's true too, and,
But what they're trying to solve is just surface water.
Yes.
6 inches of rain in 2 hours. They're not trying to,
Yeah.
they're not trying to drain that slough.
Yeah, and I'm thinking.
And truthfully, we put a pipe in there, instead of the north side of the road being saturated with seawater, the south side.
well, that's true too.
so
That's true.
what we could do, I mean, and I'm just speaking out loud, and I maybe talk to Mr. Parsons to see if it's legal to say, we can permit the pipe, but any subsequent lawsuits between you and Jorgensen,
I don't think I would hold up.
I don't know if that would
Would be
be,
good.
You could check,
Question
you
to ask.
could check.
because
We gotta stay out of it.
I don't care about the pipe, honestly. I just don't want us to get sued.
We,
in the
yes,
future.
I agree with you.
I don't want to hurt any other taxpayers.
Yeah.
I can care less about pipe, but if we're gonna hurt somebody else, I don't want to see that because this has never happened.
I mean,
So,
if we wanted to, we could just go grade the road down a foot lower and let it spill over, and it's just gonna sit in the ditch because Jorgensen says it's higher. So,
put a dike in then.
well, it's
So,
so
No, take away the levy.
Yeah,
That's what he's saying.
yeah.
Take away the road, just build her low right there, let it be. When it floods,
Natural
it'll flood more
waterway.
often, there you got sending your guys out, dragging rock out of the ditch.
I had a deal, well, the county had a deal out west where there was a landowner who wanted to put in a tile across the road. And he stated the same legal, code as Jay did there. Yeah, it says that if there's a suitable downstream thing, we have to pay for the pipe, which is not right to have to rip up a concrete road to put a tile across, but it is what it is. But I told him that I would not permit it until you talk to your downstream owner, because that tile's gonna be 8 foot deep. And they thought they could talk to the owner about having him buy into it and pay the rest of the way down the ditch, and it never happened because.
No, you didn't deny it, you said, talk to your downstream person,
You get
work this
permissions.
out, and then come back to us. That's where I come into it, Dave saying, I give him permission and stuff. No, I remember talking with Dave about that, being damn careful what I said, but you know, if you can get all this in order, Adam will probably be receptive to it.
I mean, if we're talking 1,000 feet of tile to go through Jorgensen, that's, what's tile, $5 a foot?
That's the size you'll need, yeah.
But that's cheaper than going to court over the thing.
We just gotta stay out of it, and I don't know how we can stay out of it, because they claim that we're involved in it, but I don't.
I'll talk to the attorney and I'll talk to a couple of my experienced neighbor engineers and see if there's any guidance on this to.
Yeah, and his argument, we can't, our predecessors, we can't change their minds, they're gone, but it's the fact that this is what we have to deal with today. Until we get permissions to go across anybody's property, I think we need to put the burden back onto him to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And you might run that by Mr. Parsons to make sure that we're on the right track, but
Yeah, we can go ahead and put the pipe in and then let them fight it out at their expense and their argument.
It's fine with
Keep
me.
us out of it.
It's fine with me. I
We can't allow the county to get dragged into a big lawsuit over this.
Well, I've known people that have tiled an 80 up here, and to make it drain right, they had to go across the 20 of another farmer, and they paid them a substantial amount of money for that access to drainage.
Yeah, that's.
And here's a classic example
How do
From-
drainage laws and that sort of thing come into effect in this? I mean, he was quoting some of that, but isn't there
that he's
actual,
quoting a lot of old stuff.
yeah,
Well,
but
and
that's precedents.
and frankly, a lot of that old stuff is valid. But the question is there a suitable outlet? I believe he said that a suitable outlet in a natural waterway. Perhaps at one time there was, but under all the
I
other
think-
evidence I have, there is no suitable outlet and no natural waterway. So therefore, I'm left to believe when it rains, it gets high and sits there and it percolates away.
Back again, it was
It's
altered
all
several years
subsoil.
ago when that field was leveled
Yeah.
out.
But I
That's
had
how
no
we
evidence
ended
of
up
that.
with, that's how we ended up with a field higher than our ditch.
And that's why I was trying to figure out
So
what changed.
there, they need to argue that out.
Yeah.
Not us.
The only fear I have is Jordan says, well, you have a road there without a pipe in it. The engineer 90 years ago messed up and didn't put one in, you know what I'm saying?
It's still not your fault.
Well,
How can it be?
I don't know. So,
I think what we do is just, once you run that by Adam, like what we was talking about, and then see what Randy's thought is. To me, I think it would be open a can of worms if we did that. I think it would open us up, but just ask him, find out, and we can get back to it.
If we go ahead and do it with,
Yeah,
on the assurance that we wouldn't be involved.
I think
in
we're
it.
better off to sit on our hands till we get a better argument.
Well, they're not gonna quit.
Well, that's
They're both
okay.
upset now.
now, our,
Well, I don't know why he's upset, because we was just listening and asking questions.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know why they was walked out. I mean, come on, we'll keep talking here. Now,
So-
maybe we're beating a dead horse, but we'll keep talking.
so I don't know if you guys know, our internal policy when I first came here was hell no to everything, right? Just that was it. And I've been more open to
Yeah, we can't be held.
allowing things, but you have to have that permission from that downstream. And frankly, that chases a lot of people away because they want something for nothing.
Well,
But once
I
they
know
talk to
that
the
section. I
landowner,
wouldn't
Well,
want
there's
water
been-
coming down on me.
There's
so-
been this kind of discussion time and time again. I remember over by Morning Sun, west of Morning Sun, where it's real flat and everything, being involved in something where we went out and looked at that, and it was a matter of digging the ditches on
I
one
was
side.
probably
of
here at that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Council.
Digging the ditches on each side and what the drainage was gonna be. Finally, we left everything alone,
Yeah.
because if you started digging this guy's side without digging this one, then
You gotta put more on them.
you ended up with all kinds of problems, and even the landowners finally said, that I remember being out there with,
Because he said, at the end of the day, I was hoping to get something for nothing, is what he said. You
we're
remember?
talking about
Yeah,
the same guy.
yeah, we're right there.
Same deal, yep,
And unfortunately,
and we didn't do anything, he didn't get something for nothing,
and I haven't heard
and
from him
we've
since.
never heard anything since.
But there's nothing wrong with being questioned.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with it, and that
We
Well,
was-
I guess
no,
our
we
an-
didn't
my
say that.
answer would be if Schweitzer's and Jurgensen can figure out how to get water from the ditch on 170th Street
To the
to this drainage ditch
Then it'd be
to
okay.
the west, we'll put the pipe in.
That's
Across
what
the
he
road.
told him to start with.
That's what I told
I
you.
know, I know.
When his refusal, that was
But
what was
You
said.
can, maybe our word will have more clout. You're just a
Well,
engineer
yeah.
from Iowa State, you
Yeah,
know.
So, anyway, I hope I've shown that I've been reasonable for this whole
Yes.
thing.
I back you 100% on, you know.
Okay.
You're the expert in this room.
And you had the information to show
Yeah.
I really like this
that.
elevation map, that map right there.
Yeah.
It-
Flat.
It
I like
would have been
seeing
cool if there was one from like 1970 though. It
I'd
would
love
have
to
been,
see it.
it would have been cool.
Because
So
Oh,
all
yeah.
that would tell you
I'll
exactly.
love to see
No, what
we
would
have.
be nice
Is there
to see
any-
what the elevation was on 170th Street
Mhm.
10, 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
well, maybe
Well,
we build it up with rock too. I don't know.
Yes. what's the elevation, what was the elevation when that road was built? Or go
Well,
I bet
back,
it's out there somewhere.
go back as far as you can on the elevation on that road.
It's also a different, datum too, that,
Okay.
800 feet now isn't eight, yeah.
But it
so-
would sure be neat to see all these elevations on that Jorgensen farm, on the old Tangent farm.
Yeah.
Prior to them leveling it all out and tiling, or not tiling it, they put that drip.
Drip
What kind of drip, what kind of irrigation is
It's
that?
called drip irrigation.
They put
They
the
they
pipes
actually
in.
plow in these pipes about 12 inches deep.
Yes.
You can't do no
Deep tillage on that
tillage
farm, no.
anymore. And there was some of it down at Oakville, it takes less water, it works, but the flood blew the pipes out of the ground. There was so much
Because
water.
Mhm.
With the float, right?
But it would,
But the
yeah,
sun's
well,
supposed
I'd
to
like
break
to
it
see
up,
that
right? Is
elevation
that the
then.
whole purpose of the drip belt is irrigation? It's just
You're
like
getting
a,
water to the roots instead of up on the leaves and on
exactly.
it.
So the sun will bring it out and the warm days and stuff like that, so, yeah.
That's just a shame there isn't elevations for
There
that.
is.
I can go and continue to look. I'll talk to the county engineer, or county attorney. I'll send our surveyors out there and see if we can make heads or tails of
Lewis and
it.
Clark probably surveyed it, so.
Well, it would, if you could find another
Probably got
map of
lost.
elevations from 1970 versus this, we can tell who
Yep.
changed what.
And
And
that's
at
the
that
purpose.
point, you know who,
Yeah.
that would be valuable to the Schweitzers to have that
It'd be
information.
valuable to a lawsuit.
Yeah, because then they could say, you altered that
Yeah,
and that's what's caused the problem.
yeah,
The road's been there for 100 years.
over 100 years.
Yeah, so what caused it? I,
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.
I know now
I
that
bet
some of
we'll
my
never get-
drainage issues, I've been hiring the wrong lawyer.
I bet you. I
These
bet
issues
you
are really
that,
funny. I mean, there's an entire industry in drainage thing.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
yeah.
we pay.
I think we pay.
I think
for attorney.
Larry had some real drainage experience, you know, he was real into that.
Yeah,
Laws
I was,
and agriculture and all
I
that.
think I've been
I
barking
doubt
up
if
the
we
wrong
get
tree.
any more.
All right, guys, well, any other questions about anything or?
No, thank you.
Yep,
Thank
no-
you.
No problem, thanks.
But we don't get any more, cakes or
Are you gonna
Twinkies
Twinkies.
entertained by this?
That's it for our Twinkies. We'll never get any more.
on our snacks.
It's okay, I don't need them.
I never thought Jay would walk out of a meeting.
Okay, motion to adjourn if we don't. have any-
Well, we need
Mr.
to-
Chair.
You need to
Yeah, you need a motion, a second on that table.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I was just gonna say, we need to
okay, let's go ahead and do it.
formally table.
Sorry
item
about
number-
that, I was, listening to.
okay, I'll make a motion
Oh,
that we, table this approval of the bids on the tuck pointing for the courthouse, the annex building, until I have time to go over it with the contractor on exactly what's gonna be done.
So
So I'm
not
not gonna-
necessarily next week, it's till you have that complete.
Yes, yes. Till I get that done, then we'll put it back on for action.
Okay,
That's my motion.
I'll second that.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Table until further notice.
Okay.
Thank you all. Motion
Now.
adjourned.
Yeah, Schweitzer put on a pretty good show though, didn't he?
I just wish you wouldn't get so mad.
That's
about it.
it.
Well, I'm
That's
upset that,
entertaining.
I'm upset that they got up and walked out. I mean, we could have just said, okay, we agree to disagree. Adam's gonna do this and that.
I think he thinks that we